Hi guys, in today's video I'm going to talk about growing kale from seed, and I will walk you through the process. And I had to start my kale indoors, and I will explain why, but the process is going to include planting the kale indoors from seed and then transplanting it into the garden, and the different things that I do to it as far as fertilizing and all that stuff. And most importantly, why I grow kale. A lot of people don't like kale, but I will explain why. And I don't like it either. By the way, if you have a good kale recipe, please put it in the comment section below and let me know how to cook kale to make it tasty. You're probably wondering why I'm holding on to a lettuce, salad lettuce. So, like Joel Osteen, I would like to start with something funny today. I don't know if you're aware, but I do wear prescription glasses. And I mean, they're not that strong. I mean, I can see the camera, and I can only see one camera, so I'm not that bad. But when it comes to very small things, like the seeds for lettuce, I can't see them at all. And what happened is sometimes I forget to put my glasses. I put them on the top of my head, and then I forget to put them back on. And here is the funny story. So last fall I lost a whole packet of lettuce seeds. I was outside planting lettuce, and I lost them. The wind blew and I had no idea where they went. So by the way, here I planted peppers, bell peppers, just like over there, but a lettuce seed found its way over there. Anyway, but I will show you what happened the other day. So I'll take you on the side of the house. So if you can see this little thing over here, that's lettuce. And I've had lettuce growing all over the backyard. It keeps popping up here and there. So instead of just pulling it and putting it in the trash or whatever, or in the compost, whenever I see lettuce like this one, I would just get a few of the outside leaves so it can still grow. So I get a few of the leaves like that, and I just eat them like that, right? Well, I'm minding my own business outside, gardening, and apparently my husband was watching me from the inside, from the window. So he opens the sliding glass door and he goes, "Are you eating weeds?" I'm like, "No, I'm not eating weeds. This is lettuce." He goes, "Are you sure?" So I'm like, "Yeah, I'm sure." And I walked next to another thing that is growing on the other side. And I was like, "Look at this. This is Swiss chard." So I pulled it and I ate it, and it wasn't Swiss chard. It was something disgusting. Anyway, but he starts walking around and asking me about all the things that are growing. Not in the garden, but in random places. So he gets to this plant over there. So he gets over here, and let me remove my glasses. So he gets over here, and I don't know if you can see this. These are weeds, but so I don't let the HOA inside my backyard to spray for weeds, because I don't want any of their poisons in my backyard. So I get a lot of weeds, and a lot of times I will just let them die, because in a couple of weeks it's going to get so hot they're going to die out anyway. But when they get that big, I do pull them out and just get rid of them. But I will bring these guys close to you so you can see them, because my husband walks to those and he stares at them. Here, I hope you can see them better. So he gets to those and he stares at them and he's like, "Are these carrots?" I'm like, "No, these are weeds." Anyway, so I'm gonna get to the kale right now. And as many of you know, I live in a state that I can grow kale pretty much anytime I chose to, and I tried. I've been trying since I think August of last year. And what happened is, the reason I cannot start it outside and I have to start it in cups, it's because the birds kept eating the seedlings. As soon as the seedlings germinated, the birds would come and eat them. And I just got tired of it, and I gave up, and I said I'm just gonna start it inside in cups, although I live in Arizona. So I had to do that, and here is the process. Here is how I did it. So this year, instead of using my regular plastic cups, I decided to use the old containers from my eggs that I'm saving, because every now and then I go and buy eggs from the farmer's market.
or from one of my clients, and I have to bring my own container. Anyway, but I start by cutting the very top cover of the container, and I'm gonna use it when I water my seedlings. And the next step is I use my meat thermometer. I heat it up in a candle, and I use it to drill little holes in the bottom of the egg containers where I'm gonna grow my seedlings. This way they can intake water from there. And by the way, I have to give credit to my sister for this brilliant idea. Anyway, I start with my Jiffy seed starting mix that I've always used. You know this from my other videos. And I add some water to get it pretty wet. Actually, let's say when you wash your dishes and then you squeeze the sponge, this is about the consistency of the soil that I try to reach before I put it in a tray. And then I fill up half of the tray with the soil, and make sure to only fill half of the tray, the half where you drilled the holes, and press it pretty firmly. Make sure there are no air pockets left in the soil. Then with a pencil or something similar, I drill 1/2 inch holes into the soil and place 2 to 3, sometimes 4, it depends. The kale has very small seeds, so it's really hard to count 2 or 3, but try to put 2 or 3 per hole. Then cover with soil and press it firmly. Make sure that the seeds are well covered. Close the cover and put them in the tray that we cut off at the beginning of the video. Then put the container in a warm place. The ideal for me is the top of the refrigerator, but make sure to keep an eye on them because they will sprout pretty quickly. I would say after about day 2, keep an eye, because that here, it's day number 3 and you don't want them to get leggy. And here is why we kept the cover of the container. So here I'm gonna pour some water, put the seedlings in water, and wait until they absorb water. You will be able to see the topsoil getting pretty dark, darker than it is. And this is the first time I'm actually watering them. So day 3, you see how cracked the soil is? That's actually a little too dry. But just wait, and while we're waiting, we are gonna be doing some trimming. And because these cells are so small, I would like to have only one seedling per cell. So try to pick the stronger one and leave it. It's kind of hard to tell, they're about the same, but here and there you can tell that some are taller and better looking than others. So just clip the weaker ones. And now you can see how much darker the soil is after absorbing all the water. And a good way to tell if your seedlings need water is kind of just weight the container, because if it's light, it needs water, and once it's soaked enough water, you'll be able to tell by the color and by the weight as well. And at this point, I'm gonna keep the seedlings at a window, and this window gets about 8 to 10 hours of sunlight. We do have plenty of sun here, and if you don't, you should probably get grow lights. And whenever I'm home and I can keep an eye on the seedlings, I take them outside and leave them there while I'm around, because as I said before, the birds just love them. And so at this point I started fertilizing them as well with fish fertilizer. So I would add 1 tablespoon of fish fertilizer in 1/2 gallon of water and mix it really well. Then pour the mixture in a container and let the seedlings sit until they absorb it. And so I would rotate 1 watering and then 1 fish fertilizer, 1 watering, 1 fish fertilizer. And when I started leaving them out for longer periods of time, because the sun is pretty intense here, I got to the point where I was watering them pretty much every day.
So today is March 4th, so it's been 2 months since I planted the Swiss chard and the kale, and it is time for them to go in the garden because they're not growing anymore because there is so little space here. So I'm gonna plant them here in this part of the garden, and I want to leave some room for tomatoes, so we'll see how that works. But this side of the house gets sun in the morning until about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So I'm gonna start with the kale, because I believe the kale is shorter than the Swiss chard, so I'm gonna put the kale in front of the Swiss chard. And I'm gonna bring you closer so you can see what I'm doing here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use the spoon to scoop these guys out of the tray. Alright, one. I'll take 3 out. They're like cupcakes. I'll take 3 out. And I will plant them right up here. So one, it's gonna go over here, and these ropes are from the tomatoes from last year, so that worries me a little bit, but I think they're gonna be fine. So I'm gonna put this guy right over here. And this is just a topsoil that I bought from Home Depot, I think, or Lowe's, one of the two.
And I'm planting them about a foot apart, which probably is a little too much. But I was talking to my sister on the phone, and she started talking about snakes and all that stuff, and the leaves being all over the place, and me not being able to see what's underneath the leaves. So that freaked me out a little bit. So I'm planting them. I'm giving them plenty of space in between so I can see if there is anything crawling in between.
I hope they make it, because I actually I don't eat kale. I don't like to eat it. Well, depends on the recipe, but I'd rather juice it. It's easier to ingest it this way. So now the next thing, I'm gonna water these guys. And I'm not exactly sure how often I'm gonna water these guys, but I will be checking on them, and towards the end of this video we will figure it out together. And I try to grow kale back in the fall, because the winters here are not that cold, but the birds kept eating it, so that's why I had to start it indoors. I might have mentioned this at the beginning of the video. So hopefully the kale does well. We'll keep an eye on it. And this video will continue right now, because I'm filming as I go, and we'll see what happens in a few days. So this is the kale, 1 week after I planted it into the garden, and it seems like it's doing well. And speaking of random things, you see, I think this is Swiss chard right here, but I'm not sure. Anyway, but the kale is doing well. I do water it every day, because in the past few days it's been in 80s, high 80s and 90s, so I do water it every day. And today I am going to do something special for it. So my kale is still relatively small. I can't harvest it until the leaves are at least 5 or 8 inches long. But what I'm going to do from now on is, because kale is green leafy vegetable, it takes up a lot of nitrogen. So tonight I'm going to mix 1 tablespoon of fish fertilizer in 1 gallon of water and water them. And then 2 weeks from now I'm going to repeat the same thing. However, 1 week from now I am going to give it a good fertilizer or compost that it's very rich in nitrogen. One of the two, I haven't decided yet. But so basically every 2 weeks fish fertilizer, and every 2 weeks add good compost. And of course I'm going to water it every day, because it doesn't seem like it's going to cool down at all here. And the reason I like to eat kale, consume kale, it's because it has 400% more vitamin C than spinach. So in 1 cup of cooked kale you get 400% more vitamin C than you do in spinach. Well, but I try to eat kale in different recipes. I tried a couple, not that many, but I just don't like it. So what I do is I juice it, and I juice every day. And a bunch of organic kale at the store could be anywhere from 99 cents to $1.99, depending if it's on sale or not. And I can go to the farmer's market every Saturday. For example, today I had to work until 4 in the afternoon. So I have to buy it from the store. Well, I put about 3 leaves of kale in my juice. I put other greens as well, and I put 3 leaves of kale. One bunch of kale has 6 leaves, so I can only make 2 juices out of a bunch, and if I paid $1.99 for it, that means that every day I'm spending $1 just on kale for my juice, which is $30 a month, which is $365 a year. And in 10 years, that's $3,650, and that's a lot of money for kale, so I'd rather grow it myself. And that is that. And if you guys have any questions, please put them in the comment section below and I will answer them. And if this is your first time visiting my channel, please subscribe for more videos like this one. And thank you so much for watching, guys. Until next time, happy gardening. Bye.